about the assassin, but he was kind of like a Magritte type of looking guy. Was that a conscious choice, or?
It was a what type looking
guy? He sort of looked like a Magritte type of image. The assassin.
To be totally honest, I just sat down with Pichelle, who did the costumes, and drew out what he looked like, and said that this is the kind of hat that you have to find. This is the kind of coat. The prop. This is the kind of sledgehammer. This is exactly what he needs to look like. That's how I saw him, and that's how it had to be. And I wasn't referencing anything other than just how I saw the killer.
Oh, okay, I thought maybe it was the conscious surrealist type.
I like it that it makes you think those things, though. That's great. No, I really, really do. But it's honestly, it was just something that I saw, and I just said that's the way it has to be.
Anyone else? Yeah. Who's going to bring you a microphone?
I wanted to ask, was Nick the actual killer, or did he have an alter ego that did the killing, the assassinating?
I don't know. What do you think? I don't know.
It seemed to me that Nick had an alter ego the way the film progressed, towards the end, that he was doing the killing, but then again, I thought it reminded me of Halloween, or one of those films, Halloween or Friday the 13th.
Right. All I can say is that, what we did, what I find just personally interesting about what we did is we just took, and it was all the plan between the three of us, to just take a B-movie structure that we've seen a million times, a B-horror film structure, and put really great, a la Sam Bisbee, music to it, and see if that works. See if it works as a film. That's what we tried to do. And because of the way that I see things, and the way that I see scripts as an actor, I created a very cerebral tone to the movie. That just comes from the way I saw the scenes, the way I saw the acting. So it has this real cerebral thing about it. The stuff we did in post with Sam would write a few lines, and we would record it with Nick, and we would put it up to see if it worked for those times when he's walking through the woods and stuff. It's all very cerebral. So all I can say is that the deepest I'll ever get about this movie is that there's a saying when you're making a movie or in art, when you're creating art, that as the artist, as you're creating the art, you have to be able to kill all your darlings. And that's basically, if we're going to get intellectual, and God forbid, about this movie, that's the most I'll go, is that.
I think we wanted to have more questions about this sort of thing than answers, presented by, so there's no real clear distinction between, conscious and subconscious. It's sort of up to interpretation always.
Yeah, I was actually influenced by a film called High Tension, a French horror film, which is one of my favorite horror films that has been made.
Yeah, and for me, on a much more concrete level, anytime I or anybody I knew got a record deal, the first thing that the producer would say is, you've got to get rid of your band. You've got to, your drummer sucks. You got to get a new bass player. You need a better guitar player. I know the guys. And the first thing they make you do is actually get rid of your band, who's usually your best friends. So on a visceral level, that's what, that when Eric Bogosian says the ending, which we shouldn't even say out loud, because this is, I don't want to say too much, actually, but
They saw it. They're not going to give away the end.
I was thinking about it. She's taking this. It'll be maybe on the internet, and I don't want to give away the ending of the movie.
See, Sam is way ahead of all of us.
So, from that, I'm still repairing my relationship with a drummer of mine from 20 years ago.
Well, tell us about that, Sam.
Are you collaborating on another project?
Yeah, it's going to be called I Said Don't Go in the Woods.
Mall.
Yeah, we have a couple. We have Mall in production, which these guys and myself adapted from Eric Bogosian's first novel, Mall, which we have a bunch of people attached to. We have the foreign set up, and we're just waiting for some domestic money to start. We have other things. You know, we want to make another one of these. So we hope that we find incentive to do so because we think it'd be a blast. We already know what it's going to be, and we wrote it in the car on the way here, or on the way somewhere, right? Didn't we? Basically.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
And the music's not written, but Sam can do that like that. And no, so we're going to do other things, yeah.
Any more questions from you guys? Back there.
How well did doing 5 minutes, Mr. Wells, prepare you for this feature-length film, or did it have its own set of challenges that one did?
Yeah, it was as hard as it was. How many days did you shoot that for?
I think it was a week. Was it even?
Like 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that there's such complete. I don't know if anybody's seen 5 Minutes, Mr. Wells, but I made a short, a fiction about Orson Welles and a woman in a bungalow outside of while they're shooting The Third Man, and I made it, and it traveled all over the world for like 2 years, and it was it's very I was very proud of that movie, but the difference between this is that I put a lot of time into that structure of that movie and what that movie was and how it should be written and how I designed the stage myself and built the set 4 feet off the ground and split it into quadrants so that we could shoot from the floor and shoot. It was this whole design thing that I did. It was a very different approach. And it was a very long process. The writing of the script was a long process, and the designing of it was longer, and then the execution was for a short. It was 5 days of a lot of work. Whereas this, like Sam was saying, it came together in a 2-month period, like as a whole. From me just thinking of the idea, and then bam, we were shooting. It's a very interesting process to me. Process is always very interesting to me. The 5 Minutes, Mr. Wells turned out to be a very cool film that I'm very happy with, and Don't Go in the Woods turned out to be a very cool film that I'm very happy with. But it's just two completely different processes to do them. And I don't see myself as a director really. I just see myself as doing these ideas that I want to do, and if anybody wants to see them, fine, And I find them entertaining, and my friends find them entertaining, so that's important to me. And I'm just gonna. So the process of 5 Minutes, Mr. Wells, was just an extension of what I felt at the time, and so was Don't Go in the Woods. I didn't learn anything from 5 Minutes that I applied to on this, and I hope that answered your question.
There was another question.
I know it was long-winded.
Right over there.
Hi.
I'm kind of far in. The songs are really good. Is the soundtrack going to be available to buy?
Let's see how the movie does first.
I'll leak them if it doesn't make them available.
Then there'll be a huge lawsuit.
Yeah.